seeing all these people that you grew up with in elementary, and now we're all graduating high school together. It's just a different experience.
I've also learned to be more accepting of myself. Just to be like overall more confident in my values and my belief system.
Yeah.
A lot. And so that was me in high school. Like, I'm not a fast learner, and so I have to take time, and I also learn better when I'm by myself and I'm figuring things out.
It's like everyone was like, and then I raised my hand. So, yes, you at the back. Mom, can I go to the comfort?
INCRadio podcast. We're here to hear.
Hello, podcast family, and welcome to episode 8 of our season, Turning Pages. And you are tuning in to INCRadio podcast, the podcast that resonates with you. I'm your host, LJ.
And Angelica.
And Chloe.
And Kia Jacob. What's up, everyone?
And we are so thankful that you are here with us today. Today's episode is going to be about life after high school graduation.
Wow.
And we'll dive into the experiences and challenges that come after graduation, from choosing a career path to navigating new relationships and also deciding to move forward with post-secondary.
Exactly. And now, before we delve deeper into this topic, we want to introduce you to our podcast episode question for today. So, for all of our live viewers, please feel free to put them down in the live chat below because we would love to see your answers as well. And for those of you who will be viewing this lovely episode after it will be aired, feel free to share with us your response to our question at podcast@incradio.net. So, without further ado, let's go on to our podcast episode question, which is, what essential life skills did you find most important after graduating? Is it to do with money? Is it to do with studying, like study skills, habits? Tell us all about it.
Yes, we're very excited for that at the Chloe, at the LJ, and at the Angelica. But before we dive in and get to know the answers of our beloved listeners, and syempre po, bagong lahat, we would love to greet and spread our love, give our love to our po dearest ka Angelo Aranyo V. Manalo, our CEBSI President and CEO. And most of all, we would love to thank our dearest Executive Minister of the Iglesia ni Cristo, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo.
Ayun. And now let's go off to our main discussion, which is, yun nga, life after high school graduation. So one of our first question, we're gonna look back on our high school memory first before we dive into, life after it. So what is your favorite memory preparing for graduation? Wait, si Jaycon hindi pa graduated. Tama?
He just...
No, he already did.
Yes! Diba? How come he was saying he wasn't? Sabi niya kanina,
he graduated na. He
just graduated this year. This is my first year of high school. Isn't that great? I'm kidding. This is my first year out of high school.
Ikaw, so...
favorite moment? Yun ba yung question? Favorite
moment? Yeah, moments or
memory.
Preparing
for graduation.
Preparing for graduation. So, did it have to do with your grad ceremony itself? Mga ganon.
It's more like who I'm with. Kasi 'di ba for the knowledge of for the awareness of everyone. Parang mali pa rin yung awareness. Ano pa kalalim? Para po sa kaalaman ng lahat. Opo. Before high school graduation, literally like 2 quarters before kami mag-graduate ng high school, I left our country, the Malaysian country, went back here in the Philippines, continued studying for like 5 months before the graduation, and I was alone. Of course, wala yung family. So that means nung graduation, they actually went here with me. So a week before not a week. 3 days before the graduation, they went here, so we actually get to spend time with each other. See each other after such a long time. My mom, she cried so hard.
She's a proud mom.
That was her favorite.
She's a proud mom. Like, you're still alive. Oh, grabe yun. Pero totoo yun, parang napakahirap nung moment na yun. And it was more than just the graduation itself. Para siyang naging culmination activity then, culmination event for me personally na, wow, I actually surpassed through that. Just being myself.
Like, you did that.
Nakita ko pa nga sa Ate Chloe.
I know, right?
Oh,
Like fresh out of Malaysia.
Right?
That's great.
Fresh out of Malaysia. Is Jaycon like
Crying,
half teary eyed
sobbing.
with like luggage in his hands. Like he was a mess.
I was a mess back then.
But yeah, we're really proud of you, Jaycon.
Thank you,
Very, very
pa.
proud.
We are.
Because
We
we
are.
are very far away from our graduation.
Yeah, I want to know your graduation
I
experience.
What year did you graduate? Ayan na lang. Actually, I don't even know mine.
I graduated in
I don't remember.
2019. So
2019?
5 years ago now.
Really?
I'm 5 years out of high school. The
Oh,
existential crisis is real.
wow.
I'm gonna check
Yeah,
mine because I don't remember.
No, like while you check yours, I remember Australia has a different system to most of the rest of the world. So our school year actually ends in December instead of the normal like May, June, July, like summer. Because our summer is December. So we had all of basically October, November to prepare. And our graduation was kind of like, it was very not informal. It was very formal, but it was in preparation for our exams. So I feel like my graduation, it was just such a blur. But I remember, like, I love getting ready for certain like events. So I was like preparing my uniform. I was so excited. I was like finally everything's like gone down to this moment. Like even if it's like unofficial, we haven't gotten our exams back or things like that. The people always made it fun. Getting fitted for like different uniforms. But honestly, my favorite part was very far off graduation, but it was like the marker of, oh, we're going to be graduating soon. It was getting our senior jackets. I loved my senior jacket, because that marked the moment where it was like, yeah, like
This is
within
real.
the next couple of months, I'm gonna be out of high school.
Wow.
So very memorable. Did you find out what year you graduated?
Yeah, I found out. No, I'm also 2019. No, that's only because
Yeah,
2019 din ako. 2019 din. So, same thing as Ate Chloe. But ours, here in Canada, we end off our school year in June. So, before the end of June, we're already graduated by that time. So, I think we only have like a week left before school actually ends off. But graduation happens a week before the last week of school. But my favorite part of preparing for graduation was getting grad photos. I love that my high school, it's a vocational school, so we had photography in-house, so we didn't have to get them professionally done, which was really nice because you could request different types of like poses. Like it's really all up to you. They gave you so much freedom. But yeah, that was my favorite because it just so happens that all of my grad photos, like the scheduling for the grad photos, happened with my my elementary best friend. So we all went to the same high school together. So it was like a whole like experience because it was like seeing all these people that you grew up with in elementary, and now we're all graduating high school together. It's just a different experience that you can only really experience once in your life. But yeah, that was my favorite part because it was like we all grew up together. Now we're here. We're literally gonna be adults after this. So yeah, grad photos was my favorite. Grad photos. Ikaw, Angelica.
Hulaan niyo kung kailan ako graduate ng high school.
We can math this.
Yes.
We can math this.
Okay, Ate LJ, can you math this?
Uy, wag na ako. You guys know.
Was she a pandemic
No,
grad?
I want to.
She was a pandemic grad.
No, you're a pandemic graduate. Are you not?
No, it was the year that we started podcast.
2020.
Yes.
2020.
2022.
2022. That was such a
2022,
long
yes.
time ago. Wow.
Yeah. That was 2 years ago.
So,
Hmm.
Can you
oh yeah,
imagine?
So she's only a
yeah.
2-year adult
I
out
w-
of high school.
yes. Hindi kasi di ba si
So
Ate Angelica, she's graduating now kasi she's graduating a year early. Is that right?
I'm
Or,
graduating next year pa.
for
I'm
college.
graduating a
For
semester
college.
early. So
At semester.
so instead of graduating 2026, I'm graduating 2025.
Okay.
Wow.
Sounds
which
nice.
which is kind of related to my favorite memory preparing for graduation because in high school I was a STEM student, and
Mhm.
so one of the things that we're looking forward to, because we do research twice a week, um, every single week, and so one of the things that was one of my favorite memories was actually preparing for my final presentation as a senior graduating from the STEM program. Because
Mhm.
you know how in the Philippines there's academic strands, right? And so like when there's pamphlets of like the names of the graduates, your program is in there. So for me,
Wow.
I was graduating as a STEM graduate, and that was something that I worked really hard for throughout high school. So just going through that whole entire program, the ups and downs of it, and all the struggles, and then being able to graduate with my group of friends, it was it was a very memorable experience, just because it's one of those moments when you go through really hard times with your friends,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and being in that program was really hard. So then graduating out of it, it was very fulfilling,
Yeah.
because you look
Yes.
back and it's like, oh, I made it. And another thing was probably me being in marching band. I think I told you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was in marching band. And so actually every single year of my high school career, I've attended the graduation because I would perform
Yeah.
as a music student. And so it's also a really fulfilling experience when coming into the graduation. There's like, in the beginning, we also play along with the band. And then
Oh,
those who graduate stand up, and then once it's time like to call all the graduates, then they kind of like step out to join those who are graduating.
Yeah.
So then you have your last final
oh.
moments of playing music with everyone around you, and then all the graduates leave.
So since we already looked back on our high school graduation, dun naman tayo sa next question, which is, what was something you learned about yourself after leaving high school? Ayan. Sa akin naman, I'll go first. Sa akin naman, I went to college right after. Because
Mm.
with my school being a technical vocational school, it was already connected to a college. So I went to college right out of high school, and honestly, it didn't feel very, like, the transition wasn't very hard for me. Is all I
Okay.
can say, because college and high school for me was almost the same thing. The only thing that didn't change is that we weren't hopping off different classrooms. Like, we would be in the same classroom, it'll just be a different teacher each like
So
topic.
it's the
So
teachers who move.
yeah, so it was the teachers that came to us in our classroom, so it wasn't as hard to transition out of high school. And you know how they would scare you in high school with saying that, oh, college and university is very different. No one's gonna baby you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna care. Like,
Yeah.
you have to stand up as your own person. You have to study hard. Blah blah blah. It's not like that at all. Like, I was like, this is college. Like,
Right.
it's college. Because I was surprised. I didn't have a hard time transitioning. So one of the things I learned about myself, though, is definitely it's a lot faster paced than high
Mm-hmm.
school, because with my college program, I was going through dental assisting. We had tests and exams almost every single week, so that was something that I learned to be able to, really look at my materials. Just as a learner, I learned more about myself than what I was in high school. High school for
Wow.
me was just more of like, I'm here to have fun. Grade 12, or like my last year of high school, was like, I'm here to have fun, enjoy it, and like literally savor the moment of like being with these people, for one last time. Because a lot of my classmates, I didn't see them after high school, or like when I went into college. So yeah, to me it was more about the learning. I learned about myself more in college than I did with myself in high school.
Yeah. Oh, for
Really?
sure.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I think that's something that you'll experience. as
Yeah.
you go through college, Jaycon, is that you'll learn a lot more about yourself
I think
in
so
this part of your life because you're
Yeah.
already in this mature stage.
too.
You're kind of already figuring things out.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I learned that I am very indecisive
Okay,
after high school.
after high school, wow.
Which explains the career changes. It explains like the amount of changes, like the amount of times I've changed degrees.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think I've also learned to be more accepting of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
just to be like overall more confident in my values and my belief system,
Yeah.
having that sort of like sense of self.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really important. Not important, not like it's not, it doesn't have to be forced. I guess it's the experiences that led me to like to learn to respect myself and to appreciate my own experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I've become a lot more grateful for those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ikaw,
Love that.
Angelica.
Something that I learned, I'll probably take this more into like an academic perspective.
Mm.
Something that I learned was to really take care of yourself. I admit this because like when I reflect on myself, I don't find myself to be a very smart person. I just study a lot. And so that was me in high school. Like I'm not a fast learner. And so I have to take time, and I also learn better when I'm by myself and I'm figuring things out. So in college, it was difficult because now I'm spending a lot of time in lectures,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and it's not really how I learn the best, but have to be there for attendance. So, but I did learn in high school to really make sure that you take care of yourself because since I was balancing so many things in high school, I was not sleeping a lot. And I also had really bad eating habits where I had bad eating habits where it was like my meal for the day would be like a granola bar and water, and
Wow.
that's it. And I would skip lunch and I would go to the library instead to study. That was me. Especially during the times when things got really, really busy. That was what I was doing. And I think, in a sense, it did take a toll on my body because I was very burnt out entering college. And so, one thing I learned about myself is, of course, my limits and the importance of taking care of my body because I didn't necessarily, I think it got better once I got into college, but one of the things for me that I learned in college was that to really take a break when you're sick, because that's what I wasn't doing. I think my eating habits got better and I was sleeping more, but I wasn't taking breaks when I got sick because I felt like, oh, I'm so scared to
To fall behind type thing.
to miss, yeah, to fall behind and to miss so much. But because I wasn't stopping because I was sick, I it kind of prolonged the period that I was gone because I wasn't taking care of myself. Like I was just getting more and more sick. So
Yeah.
that's what I learned after leaving high school. Really take care of yourself and really understand your limits.
You really can't pour from an empty cup. That's true. Siguro ako somehow related with Ate Chloe, more with decision making. I learned na if you make a decision, you really have. If I make a decision, I really have to face it. I really have to act on those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Parang kasi 'di ba, you've been in this journey. Parang alam niyo tong pinagpipilian ko. I really wanted to try to take a gap year, right? I've been telling
Mm-hmm.
you about this. Like I wanna experience how just a year of not attending school,
Studying. Yeah.
not studying in school. I mean, that doesn't mean that I'm ending learning, 'di ba? Parang I'm just, not attending school
Just a
and
break. Just a break.
just a break. Try other stuff. Pero then I realized na it's not like I'm gonna waste time. More like feeling ko I need to make a decision for myself na school is something that I actually need. Hindi ko lang siya
Mm-hmm.
feel that time, but I really need to go to school. Kasi for the longest time, I've been studying online, right? I've been studying online. Tapos even though I went here in the Philippines, I finished high school online pa rin. So feeling ko I needed to fulfill that part of me na mag-aral face-to-face
Mm.
while I'm still at this stage of my life. Kasi
Yeah.
if I'm gonna stop for like a year or more, siguro pag dumating na ako ng mga 20 to 24, ako magko-continue bumalik sa school ng face-to-face. I feel like I am snatching so much years, so much, parang yung face na yun, parang hindi ko napagdaanan. Feeling ko may
Yeah.
magkakaroon ng kulang sa akin. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to experience actual school. And it turns out it was one of the best decisions that I've made.
Yeah. Honestly, like have taking a gap year is not for everybody, honestly. Like you really have to like
Really.
think about that decision. Like for me, I was
Mm.
planning to take a gap year after high school. But the thing was, I was like, I know myself. I'm gonna
Oh.
procrastinate and I'm gonna get lazy and not want to go back to school. And I'm glad I didn't take a gap year. So you really have to, like, you have to know yourself. Like if you know you're not gonna do anything else afterwards, and you know that it's gonna have a hard time on you finding that momentum again to go back to school, then don't do it, because that gap year could be like, yeah, it will push you back, definitely. But again, like, that's totally up to anybody's preferences.
I also feel
But really get to know yourself if
Mhm.
if that's what you want to do, if that gap year is really what you think
Oh,
is
for
the
sure.
best for you.
Yeah. I learned a lot nung hindi ako nag-gap year. Like, this is just a quick story. First day ko sa class, I was like, kasi hindi ako dumalo ng orientation. Like, just
There
went
you go,
in
folks. Make
during,
sure you attend
Ano ba yan?
orientation today.
sorry ko, hindi ako dumalo ng orientation. Tapos, nag-discuss na yung teacher, and she was like asking, so, what is the definition of the state? Yung parang mga ganun, di ba? It was like, everyone was like, ako pa. And then I raised my hand. So, yes, you, at the back. Yeah. Ma'am, can I go to the comfort? She was so mad. She was so mad. Like, I don't need, parang hindi, wala kailangan ng aking permission.
I
Lumabas ka
guess
sa,
you just
parang
have to
ganun.
leave like in a quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simply. Like, she doesn't care. Like, sabi
No.
niya,
That's
"You
how
need
it
to
is in
do this, right?"
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it
Really
is in
like
college.
that. What advice would you give to your current high school students about life after graduation?
Okay, so with me, ayun nga, about the whole gap year. So, you really have to make sure if that gap year is what you really want, then take the gap year. But if you know yourself like me, who's gonna
Mm.
get lazy, who's gonna procrastinate and not want to go back to school, then don't take the gap year. But yun nga, enjoy your high school experience as well. Because that is something that that you'll keep forever as well. Make the most time out of it. With me, I had an option actually to do my last year of high school and college at the same time. So I'd be half day at my high school and then half day at my college. But that was one of the things that I didn't want to do because I was scared of burning out. And I knew that, like what Ate Angelica was saying, she said that she was a bit of a slow learner. I was the same way. It was a different time for me where, I really needed to focus on my one goal in order to finish high school first and then go off to college. And as well, open yourself up to new experiences while you're still in high school, because there's opportunities where you can go to different universities, go on those tours with your high school friends. Maybe you'll find something that you guys will be able to do together if you're going off to university as the same as your friends. There's also different like career days. Like in my high school, we had career days where different universities and different people who are in their certain careers come to actually do a presentation. Go to those things, because those things are not a waste of time. You might think at that moment, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna need this in my life, or like, I'm never ever gonna go into, let's say, business or to medical or to law, but that's something that might spark your interest. Like at the Chloe, she's hopped off different, you know, um,
Different
different
field.
degrees and different fields, right? That could be you in the future. You just never know what life has to offer after high school. You just have to be open because that's the best way you can really soak up what you can get out of high school afterwards.
My advice would probably be to embrace every single change that you're going to go through after high school, because I think that's really important, because sometimes we might feel so hung up on our high school life. But we have to remember that there's so much ahead, really. There's so much to look forward to. And although it's nerve-wracking because you're entering a stage where you're really making your way in this world, you're really building yourself, you're trying to figure out and make all these big decisions for your future, to just embrace all those changes, to not be afraid of it, and to really be excited for what is up ahead.
My advice at the LJ actually said something. We always get hung up on saying things like, we never need this in our life. Like math. I know a lot of people don't like math.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's
I know.
like,
Right.
when am
I
I
would
ever
know.
going to use this in my life? I think changing perspectives a little bit. We might not need, for example, math in our life all the time, but what other life lessons can you have? Changes perspective a little bit. Be a little bit more open-minded about the things that might not be of your interest. This comes from firsthand experience, where like I rejected anything that was not what I thought I wanted to do. For example, law. And then I ended up finding something that really triggered that interest in me. And I had rejected everything else prior to that because I thought that I would never need that in my life. You can always learn something from any experience that you have, or any interest or disinterest that you have. So it's always just about being open-minded. High school is not the end of the world. You have a lot of time. There's no need to rush. Changing your mind is okay. I feel like we always just say that high school is like, it's be all and end all. It's not. You have another decades long after high school. It really is not the end of the world.
Jaycon, being a 1 year after life after high school.
I was gonna say, what advice do you have?
What advice do you have to give? Siguro kasi I've been napapansin ko sa iba, they get too dramatic. I'm not invalidating their feelings, but they get too over na parang like, hala, college na ako, kailangan ganito na ako mag-isip. Like, grabe yun. Parang ganun na silang mga person. Like, they don't change their outlooks in life. Parang,
like being college has to be serious.
This has to be serious. Like, I'm 18 already. Parang kailangan ganito na. No. You're still
clueless
you.
At 18.
Yes, you are still you. There might be big changes. For example, in academic tracks that you are taking, na parang mas siguro sabihin natin mas mabigat na yung mga loads mo ngayon. Sabihin natin na you're much more busier now. Pero you have good traits, qualities, or the youth in you. You don't have to like throw them out of the window just to say now you're already college and you have to put makeup on and carry a shoulder bag instead of a backpack. You don't have to change right away.
No,
Like who you are.
I actually get that.
Just take it one step at a time, especially sa mga fresh lang, diba? Like us, diba? Some people they get too dramatic, but don't be.
It's very Gen Z as well.
Yeah,
in this time where like everything's so like rushed and
right.
We have to grow up so quickly. You don't.
You don't have to grow up so fast.
Look at us.
We're still
hindi pa grown up.
We are living.
We never grew up. That's why we're stuck here forever.
We are living even 5 years after graduation. We kind of don't really know what we're doing.
To go to our Christian value takeaway.
So for our Christian value takeaway, life after high school is a time of exploration. It is important to remember that there are different types of journeys. The journey you take may be different from others, but just remember you are in your own timeline. Embrace the uncertainty and open yourself to new experiences, whether that means pursuing further education, starting a new job, or even traveling. As members of the Church of Christ, we are reminded to put God's will above all else. Let's always pray and put our trust in God, especially when uncertainty comes within our lives.
Everyone, thank you so much for being with us today. We hope that you have enjoyed today's episode and learned a lot from our conversation today. And as always, we love hearing from all of you, our lovely listeners. So please do reach us out for any comments, your questions, any of your suggestions via Telegram. That is 0964243730, or via email. Please do contact us through podcast@INCRadio.net. Because always remember, here on INCRadio Podcast,
We're
For
here. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Bye, everything.
Let's open our devices and listen now. Let's have some fun, and this is how. As we have our INC radio podcast playing, we will have so much fun listening. INC Radio Podcast, we're here to hear. Whoa, 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 whoa. INC Radio Podcast.